Hello. This is an extension of my last YouTube I did was learning tarot, blending position meanings, blending positions for in-depth detail. And I can go a lot farther into that. And I thought I would. And so that's what this is going to be about. So it's just going to be the same one, only part two. Part two. Okay. Anyway, this is using the Celtic cross too, by the way, which is what I was using before anyway, when I was talking about it. But that's what I use professionally. But I put my own position meanings in there. And so the first thing I wanted to do is go over the classic cross meanings because it's hard to blend them. And when I changed mine around, I changed them around partially for that reason, so I can get them to interact with each other in ways. Helps tell a story better. And they also help each other out. Position 4 might help position 8. Position 7 might help position 3. They help each other out because they're not isolated things you're looking into. And it would all depend on every reading would be different. So they all have the ability to help each other out on my cross. Now, in a classic cross, I've got Bare Bones Tarot here, and I'm looking at, I put in there the classic cross, and I explained it as well as my cross. So the ancient Celtic method, according to Eden Gray, that's what they called it here, in the ancient Celtic method. And here we have position 1. It's called This Covers Him. And this is the general atmosphere of the reading, of the situation, both good and bad. And then position 2 always crosses over the top of position 1 on a classic cross like that. And that's supposed to be read, if you use reverse meanings, that one's always read right side up. Position 2. Position 2 always is laid across, and always, this card shows opposing forces to the situation, good and bad. So if it's a bad situation, it shows opposing forces to that, which would be good. If it's a good situation, it shows opposing forces to that, which would be bad. Number 3 position, it says this is beneath him. Now on a classic cross, at least the way Eden Gray did it, number 3 position is in the 6 o'clock position, right there. It's at the bottom. My cross is the other way around. Number 3 position, this card represents what has already happened, something that is already a part of the issue. So this tells you something that's already happened, number 3. Number 4, this is behind him. This card shows influences that have recently happened and are now passing away. Now, number 4 position is 9 o'clock on a cross on the classic version right here. And again, these position meanings it's not really that important, as long as you get used to doing them a certain way, so you're not even thinking about it. But this is how she's saying it to do it, the classic cross. What's behind him, number 4? Something that's already happened has passed away, or is now passing away. Number 5 position is a 12 o'clock position at the top. This crowns him. This card represents something that may come to pass. This card represents something that may come to pass in the future. That always seemed kind of weak to me. Something that may come to pass, because later on we have something that will come to pass for sure. Well, that never made any sense to me. This card represents something that may come to pass in the future. We might have an earthquake. I never liked that. Number 6 position is would be the 3 o'clock position on the cross. And this is before him. This card shows what will come to pass in the future. So again, number 5 position, this crowns him. This card represents something that may come to pass in the future. Number 6 position, this is before him. This card shows something that will come to pass in the future. That's the way they do it. Number 7 position is the bottom of the pillar. This is the pillar here. Number 7. Number 7, this is the Corinth's fears. This card represents the negative fears the client has about the issue, or what they're afraid might happen. Above that is number 8, family opinion. This card represents opinions of and influence family and friends have on this question. Represents opinions and influence family and friends have on this issue, on this question. That's 8. Number 9, the client's hopes. This card represents what the client hopes to achieve in this quest. That's pretty much the same as I have in mind. I call it the purpose on number 9. Number 10 position, final outcome. This last card tells what the final outcome will be. It should also be taken into consideration all the cards that have been laid out on the table. So putting it all together with that as like a capper in the 10 position represents the final outcome. These position things seem more, they don't go with each other too well. And it's hard to connect them. So you would read each one isolated by itself. And I like it where this is a map that can be arranged and going in different directions. A map, you can go north, south, east, west, go anywhere you want. So I wanted to make these positions where they worked with each other. And that works real well with what I was talking about in learning the tarot, blending positions for in-depth detail, the last YouTube. Because my cross positions work with each other well. And what position works with each other with another card, with another position, will depend on the question and what you're seeing on the cards and how you want to read it. So that's what I think makes it a lot more workable, a lot more flexible. It gives you some gives you things to work with. Here's my cross in the book. And you see numbers 1 and 2 position don't overlap each other. They're fanned together. And we're on a classic cross. They're set up like that. So anyway, my positions on the Celtic cross. Numbers 1 and 2 position on the cross. Numbers 1 and 2 position, I read together. I don't have them on top of each other like that. Those 2 cards with my cross represent the question itself we're looking into. And seeing that's an important part of the whole situation, I use the 2 cards together. And you can look into all sorts of different things with that, positive and negative, or you can link them together, or maybe there's more than one issue there, however you want to see it. It gives you things to work with. Now, on my cross, number 3 position is at the top. It's 12 o'clock position. On a classic cross, number 3 positions at the bottom. It's a number 6 position. And it said, this is beneath you. My cross, it's not set up that way. My cross is number 3 position, is at the top. And it's the client's current actions that they're taking right now. How they responded to this issue, things that they're looking into, actions they're taking right now. That's what I look at as a number 3 position. So they have this question in number 2, this issue that came up in numbers 1 and 2. Number 3 position is how they're handling it. And this allows me to question that. And number 4 position is their immediate goals they're trying to accomplish. The first things first. This is what I got to get taken care of right now. And usually when there's some situation going on, we do set our priorities. And this allows me to focus on that. So number 4 position, which is the 6 o'clock position on the cross with my spread, is immediate goals you're trying to accomplish. Number 3 position is the actions you're taking to get those immediate goals for number 4. What's your priorities in number 3 position? What actions are you taking to get there? I should say, what actions are you taking? And what are you trying to achieve in the 4 position? And lots of times when you're doing these things, when things come up, we're not really when our first reactions could be very, if we take a look at them later, we could see that maybe we should have did something different. It wasn't planned out carefully. And this allows us to question that. Number 5 position on my cross is the 9 o'clock position. And that is something the client's got going for them that they should be focused on. They should know that. They should pay attention to it. We always got things we could use. And if they are aware of that position, they are aware of those things that they have going for them, the assets they have or the things they have going for them. Maybe they're not using them to the fullest extent that they could be. And this allows us to find out what that is. It might be more than one thing. And it allows us to get them to focus on what they got to work with here, to put things in their favor. Number 6 position is the 3 o'clock position. And that is an opportunity to come in the future. Something for them to watch out for, that they should keep an eye out for, that will help them on their quest here. Whether that's help them find an answer or help them achieve a goal, it's there to help them. That's number 6 position. Number 7 position is the bottom of the pillar again. And that's how the client is seeing their own question. So we have numbers 1 and 2 is a situation going on here or an issue that they're dealing with. And number 7 allows us to look at that as how it's a client seeing it. And there are different ways they could be looking at this. Actually, you could look at number 7 and say, any of the positions we're looking at, how is the client seeing their position there? So it's the client's perception of anything you want it to be, really. You could use that with position 5, their asset, what they got going for them. Maybe they don't realize their perception of that asset really isn't there. They don't think they have that going for them. Maybe they do. So I mean, that's what I mean. My cross works with other positions. Number 8 position is the timing. I call the timing of the issue. Really what I mean there is what needs to be in place. So when's the right time to act on this? Maybe things need to be put into place before they do move forward on this. Maybe now, before opportunities are lost, too. Maybe they have time. Maybe they should prepare. Maybe they should develop. Number 5 position, their asset. Focus on that. Or maybe they should wait for the opportunity to come in number 6 before they act. Maybe if they act, it'll help them get number 6. Or maybe they should wait for number 6 to happen first. Maybe they should fine-tune 3 and 4 before they act. So it's like I said, these positions help each other out. 9 position 9 is the purpose. What are we trying to achieve here? What in the big picture? We're trying to accomplish number 4, the immediate goals. But really, what are we looking to? Why do we want this? Another way to look at it is, why do you want this in your life? So what's the purpose of this whole thing? What do you think you're going to get out of it? This allows us to question the client's perception from number 7 on what they think they're going to get out of this. And number 10 is things that you're going to find as you move forward with this situation, things you're going to find along the way as you start to accomplish this and become successful with this. These could be negative or positive things. If they're negative things, this allows you to be prepared for them. Maybe that opportunity in number 6 position is going to come there, but with that, it's going to be some static from number 10. So it allows you to prepare for that. Or it could also be where once you accomplish number 6 position, number 10 is showing a free and easy situation. You're going to be home free. So these positions all work with each other. And they allow us to fine-tune other positions. Like I said, number 8 position, the timing of things. Well, maybe I'm seeing the timing being affected because of the fact that now's not a good time to act because you're really mixed up about what you're trying to do here. Your whole what you're trying to accomplish here isn't going to give you number 9, so don't act on this at all till you fine-tune it. Or maybe your timing to act, like I said earlier, is after you develop this asset of number 5. Maybe you need to develop number 5 before you figure out maybe you need to develop number 5 in order to achieve number 9, the purpose. And if you don't, you're wasting your time. So they work with each other. And every reading, certain positions will work with other positions, depending on the question, what you're seeing in those cards, and how they strike you. This is a very useful way to look at it. And I think that I can definitely tell you over the years, I like getting away from the isolated positions where you're reading position 1 by itself as a position, as a thing that we're looking into here, and then position 2 by itself, separate from position 1 or any of the other positions. Because at the end of the reading, you're blending it all together anyway. So you might as well have positions where they can interact with each other. And I've always felt that was a useful strategy to have in creating a good sound card spread. And it's worked very well for me. And that spread is in all of my books I do with the tarot cards, with talking about tarot cards, which is Genius of the Tarot, Essential Tarot, Radical Tarot, and Bare Bones Tarot. In those 4 books, I talk about how to read tarot cards. So anyway, and you don't have to do it. You could do that with any spread. I just did it with the Celtic Cross because that's what I first learned on. And it worked for me. But any pattern you got on the table that you get used to that you don't have to think about, it's just the pattern I use. And I know what every position means. You start to get familiar with how they interact with each other. If you have a spread where those position meanings work well with each other, and it helps you make a connection from one card to another card. And you'll see it right away. You say, oh, yeah, this looks good with this. I see you got to do this before you get this out. Straighten this out before you move forward with this. Watch out for this coming because it doesn't look good. As you move forward here, I see making good progress, but I see resistance coming. You have to watch for. This might be somebody close to you, somebody you work with. And you'll start to be able to say these things and you're going to see them. You're going to see them there because they interact with each other. It allows you to come up with a direct, complete, detailed, in-depth direction with information for the client. And you could put your own position meanings in there. Those are the ones I use, and over time, they've worked very well for me. And it probably took me a couple of years to really fine-tune them. Say, well, at position 7, I'm going to fine-tune that to mean something else, or I'm going to fine-tune position 8 to mean this, or position 3, I want to do this. It took a while. But what I was using was working well, but I thought, well, if I change it to this or that, it might work better. And it did. Eventually, over time, that's what it ended up being. And I still think it's a very sound way to read. So that helps a little bit more in depth about blending positions for in-depth detail. Part 2. And I did make a mistake yesterday on my part 1 on this, learning tarot blending positions for in-depth detail. I said that our next tarot meeting, our next tarot gathering was May 8th. I put that in the description, though. I said that I made a mistake. It's actually May 9th. I said it's Tuesday, May 8th. Well, Tuesday is May 9th. And when you go to tarotmaps.com, that link on that page, I'll have one on this page too if you want to come. It is 12 o'clock Chicago time, May 9th, Tuesday. All are welcome. Just go, it's a Zoom meeting. So if you got any questions, come on by, say hello, or if you just want to visit. We're usually there for a couple hours and a lot of just socializing. And if people come in, they have a question, a lot of people there are more than happy to give you an answer. But if you're learning tarot cards, you want to hear some feedback about something, come by, say hi. Come by for 15 minutes, come on by for the whole thing. It doesn't make any difference. It's no big deal. It's very laid back, casual. So that's that. My position meetings and how they work with each other and how it's nice to have position meetings that interact with each other instead of isolated positions. Keep throwing cards. We'll talk soon. Bye.